Dr. Angela with Hearing Healthcare Center.
Hi, I am Alex, also with Hearing Healthcare Center. I have 2 cues for you.
2 cues. Well, let's get started and see if I have any tips for you.
What is this?
What is this? Well, this is a fireplace. And the only reason Alex asked about it is because he built it with his own 2 hands.
Because it's different.
Oh, it's very different, much like Alex himself. I wanted a fireplace for Christmas.
But it's New Year's.
Well, it was Christmas.
Oh, okay. Cue number 2.
Alrighty.
A little more relevant this time.
Well, this is pretty relevant.
New client. Let's do that.
Okay.
And they have got some hearing aids.
Okie dokie.
And by they've got them, I mean they've had a loved one give them to them, say, I no longer need them, or as sad as it is, may have had a loved one who's passed and no longer needs the hearing aids, but I have somebody in the family who has a hearing loss. Can you program these for that person?
All right. Long answer? Short answer?
Short answer.
Short answer. Maybe.
Long answer.
Oh, okay. Depending on the age of the hearing aid, the manufacturer of the hearing aid, the capability of the hearing aid, the hearing needs of the individual, yes.
Okay, let's start with manufacturers, because there are certain manufacturers that we cannot take care of here.
That's true. There are some devices that are manufactured for a proprietary fitting, like Beltone, Miracle Ear, Audibel, New Ear. There are a few others. Those particular devices are manufactured for dispensers that sell that particular product. So I would not be able to program any of those manufactured devices.
Which ones can we do here?
We can do Phonak, Rexton, Resound, Unitron, Signia, Oticon. We can do any of those.
And also, as you said, depends on how old the devices are as well.
Correct. Hearing instruments are built to last 3 to 5 years. That's their lifespan. If you bring me a hearing aid that is 12 years old, I can't program that hearing aid. I just can't. If you bring me a hearing aid that's 20 years old, that's probably a linear or an analog hearing aid anyway. And most likely, if that hearing aid needs to be repaired, we have to repair things, replace things like speakers, amplifiers, preamps, microphones, and the particular device that you bring in that's 20 years old, those replacement parts don't exist. The microphones have changed, preamplifiers no longer exist. Analog hearing aids they are a very nice part of history.
Now, if it's not analog, if it's still digital, but it's still older technology, at the very least, we could get them cleaned.
Correct.
And we could even clean ones that are not proprietary, ones that are proprietary to others. We just can't program them.
Correct.
But we can clean them.
Correct. Now, those proprietary products, we may or may not have replacement parts like domes or speaker wires or kickstands or wax guards. We may or may not have ones that fit with those as well, because let's just take Miracle Ear. I don't fit Miracle Ear or Liberty. I can't work with those either.
For us, it's a pretty common answer, but there will be some who aren't aware. There are hearing aids that go over the ear, and there are hearing aids that go in the ear. Can you reprogram in the ear for somebody else?
Okay. Short answer, yes. Longer answer, I won't. The reason I won't reprogram in the ear hearing aids for another user is because in the ear hearing aids are custom designed, custom built for that person's ear. And it is highly unlikely that a hearing aid that's made for my ear is going to fit anybody else. Oh, it might sit in there, but it's not going to fit properly. We're going to get a lot of feedback, a lot of whistling. We'll have redness on the ear. We'll have blisters come up. Why do I know this? Well, I've been an audiologist for over 30 years, so I have seen quite a bit in the hearing world.
You're the farmer's insurance of hearing aids.
And yes, I have seen people wearing their mother's hearing aids after she's passed, and they don't like hearing aids because they don't work. And it's like, well, let me find out what your history is. Well, I've been wearing my mom's hearing aid. It's like, oh, that's where we start. It wasn't built for you.
Mm-hmm.
So custom hearing aids are great. I have no problem with them, but they are built custom for the person that they were built for.
Going back to the manufacturer,
Mhm.
Usually people who have gotten hearing aids as a gift, it's their first experience with the hearing aids. How do I know which manufacturer this is?
So on the hearing aid, you look at like the underbelly of the hearing aid, the part that sits on the back of the ear, and you will see the manufacturer's name. Phonak is very clearly written on theirs. Signia is very clearly written on theirs. Oticon is very clearly listed on theirs. So look at the hearing aid and find out what the manufacturer is. If the name has been rubbed off through wear, any of us here at the office can look at the hearing aid and say, oh, that's a Phonak. Oh, that's a Unitron.
Digital technology
Uh-huh.
behind the ear, not the custom built.
Mhm.
You work with them.
Mhm.
What do I do to get this fit for me?
Well, the first thing we have to do is a hearing test. Hearing aids have a limit of what they can do. So, example, fella comes in with his mother-in-law's hearing aids after she passed, and he put them on, and he hated them. They were blowing his head off. She had superpower hearing aids. He had basically a mild low frequency sloping to high frequency loss, and they weren't programmed correctly. So we did the hearing test, reprogrammed the hearing aids, refit how the tubing went into the ear. Okay, that was much better. Or conversely, somebody has a hearing loss that is really severe, and they come in with a pair of Delta hearing aids that are really made for a mild to moderate loss. Hearing aids don't work. Well, the hearing aids are designed to do a job. But if your needs are greater than what the hearing aids are designed to do, they're not going to work for you either. So that's what I meant when I talked about the capability of the hearing aid versus the needs of the hearing impaired individual.
Because we've addressed the losing of a loved one,
Uh-huh.
if my family has somebody who's passed who is wearing hearing aids, what can I do with these hearing aids?
Well, obviously the first thing you want to do is check in the family and see if someone can use them. That's the very first thing you want to do. I do have a lot of clients who they check at church, see if there's anybody at church that needs help. So let's say nobody in the family has hearing loss, nobody in the church has hearing loss. We do have a couple of charities that we can take the hearing aids and send the hearing aids back to the charity group, and they will see that the hearing aids are used effectively.
Okay. Anything else? Because I can't think of anything else concerning the topic. Is there anything else you want to address?
Well,
I would love to say that if you have tried someone else's hearing aids and on that experience have decided that hearing aids don't work for you, you've not actually tried hearing aids. I can have a fantastically, wonderfully programmed, beautiful sounding pair of hearing aids for Alex's hearing loss.
What?
And they don't work for me
It's because we hear that joke every day.
all the time, every time. And it's funny every time. So come in and tell us that joke. We'll laugh. I promise. I promise. If you listen to someone else's hearing aids and they don't work for you, It's because they're not programmed for you. Your listening is very different than mine, and mine is very different than his, and his is very different from anybody I've ever met. You wouldn't expect my glasses to work for you. Don't expect my hearing aid to work for you. Your glasses are going to work very well for you, as would your hearing aids.
Very well said. Thank you for tuning into Cues.
And tips. We'll see you again next time. You can't do that through the switch me chairs. Switch.